Ozempic, weight loss injections, you name it, they are everywhere. But so too is the misinformation that comes along with it. So I thought, what better way than to react to these claims and ridiculous things online whilst I'm doing it on a YouTube video. So the whole point of this video will be that I go through random videos that I've never seen before and give a true perspective on what's true, what's false, and the best way to go about it. So here's the first one. So GLP-1 medication is unsafe or too new to trust. So this was something when they first started their journey and they were first introduced in 2005, which is true. So exenatide was the first drug and it was used for type 2 diabetes, as all of these did start off life for type 2 diabetes. However, I just find it really funny how people are very open and receptive to trying medication or that it's safe when it benefits them most. So in the sense of weight loss and aesthetics. But anyway, that's not too bad, to be fair. Okay, so here's the next one. Myth: GLP-1 causes muscle loss. They are an excellent muscle preserver in a calorie deficit if nutrition is dialed in. I mean, they do cause muscle loss in a lot of the people studied, because a lot of the people studied do not maintain muscle mass because they are not training in a resistance, they're not eating enough protein. So if you actually look at the medication, they do not preserve muscle from what I know of how they work. It's just that how you resist muscle mass being decreased. So have your protein on a higher end towards 2 grams per kilo per day. Try and resistance train, even though you're probably going to be fatigued, but I don't think it preserves muscle. So that's a fake thing, to be honest. Okay, here's the next one. So GLP-1 natural supplement. I actually don't know what it's got within it. With probiotic, prebiotic, enzyme. Okay, this will be interesting. Let's see. I want to know what's in this. A dietary supplement, take 2 capsules once daily. I can't see what it's truly got within it. But anyway, this is marketing and capitalism at its finest, because the human body naturally has GLP-1 in it. The only difference is, in comparison to these new weight loss injections, is the GLP-1 hormone that we secrete normally stays around for about 1 to 2 minutes, whereas these ones now have about 7 days half-life. And there's ones coming out where it's going to be at least a month before it sort of reduces in any therapeutic effect. However, with these things, when you use a protein or a hormone and you take it into the stomach, as soon as it's in an acidic environment, it denatures, meaning that it loses its conformation and doesn't work. So why having these things? I just think it's a big, massive marketing scam. If you want to take the best advice when it comes to nutrition and weight loss, move a bit more and eat a bit less, and make sure you're having a balanced diet. That'll save you countless amounts of energy wasted and money wasted on all these stupid supplements. I'm not even going to watch the rest of that video, it's just ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to watch this one. Declined for Monjaro. She looks like she's a clinician from somewhere, and it just says, have you been declined by an online pharmacy? Okay, this will be interesting.
GLP-1 medication by an online pharmacy. This is often because they operate under what's called a PGD, a patient group directive.
Okay, for anyone who doesn't know what a PGD is, so it's a patient group directive, meaning that it has a doctor and pharmacist, and they pre-sign a checklist essentially. So when you have services such as contraception, vaccines, for example, if you meet the criteria and you come into a pharmacy and you are, let's say you're after the pill and you meet unprotected sex within 72 hours and you've got no medical conditions, etc., etc., we can give you that even though it's prescription medication. However, when they are using these things for GLP-1 medication, I'm hoping that she comes onto this, it is a lot more strict when it comes to a PGD, because essentially it's like a blanket prescription where we're not assessing people in the detail that we should.
Which means they have to follow very strict, a one-size-fits-all criteria. So things like gallstones, diabetes, Crohn, no. But here's the thing, these aren't always hard no's. With the right monitoring and a proper clinical assessment, these medications can, in certain circumstances, still be safely prescribed.
They can. I'm not going to watch the rest of the video, but there's a couple of things I want to say about this. It is ironic, again, that people are driving for the use of pharmacotherapy and medication when it best suits them, basically, when it comes to aesthetics and weight loss. I still don't know why we are doing that. And online pharmacies, I've had quite a bit of an opinion against them, really, because people, and it goes both ways, okay, the pharmacies should be looking into who they are providing these prescriptions for. However, when you are filling out these forms, you can put in whatever weight, whatever size you want. So it can slip through the net. And I have had quite a few patients where we've clocked them and they're basically saying they're overweight, obese, just to get the medication. Turns out they've got anorexia. And that is why I am fully against these medications in at least 95% of people. But yeah, you can be safely prescribed, but why is everyone going after weight as the perfect health metric? I do not know. Okay, next one, alcohol and your GLP-1. I mean, this one gets me all the time because, again, weight is the health metric, blah, 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 blah. I've just seen a comment here. I drink about 4 nights a week and I've lost 5 stone on Manjaro. That is not the point. You can lose a lot of weight. I could literally go on a diet for the next 2 months where it's solely McDonald's, Burger King and still have a six-pack. I guarantee it. But my point is that weight is not the health metric we should be looking at, which is constantly what these people are looking at, or looking into anyway.
Okay, because I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to anyone else. So, if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to feel stronger in your body and things feel a little bit stuck, I need to say this out loud because I need you to hear it and I need me to hear it. Because I changed everything else. I ate well, I moved my body, I followed the plan, I did everything that I'm supposed to be doing. But alcohol always got a free pass because it was normal. It was something that I felt I deserved.
Okay, so I'm not going to go into it, but this woman's still having alcohol and not getting the effects that she wants, which is expected. But my point is that the speech before it where you've done everything, I've had that so many times. Even today, I've had 4 patients who've said they've done everything. They're doing the best things in terms of exercise. They're going to the gym 1 to 2 times per day. They are eating all the best foods. And then you look at the weight and they're 140, 150 kilos. I'm not even going to the gym twice a day and they are double my weight. So I highly doubt that is the issue. But when it comes to GLP-1 pens, do not drink alcohol at the same time. Try and curb it because the fact that you're going to be eating less, you're going to be reducing your body weight, reducing the amount of fat, you are going to feel the effects of alcohol probably 2 to 3 times more than what you used to. And it's just not conducive to a good, healthy lifestyle anyway. Okay, the next one. You look so skinny, you're not on that shot, right? I mean, straight away, I know they're going to be on the shot. Or when I mean shot, GLP-1, I bet you it's going to be like that. My sense of humour around these things has probably come down tenfold over the past year. What do you do? I mean, there's actually people who look 10 times better than people who train and go to the gym every day. So it is one of them things now where people are saying if you can't beat them, join them. But anyway, do not join them. Just go and do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, next one. I highly doubt I'm going to agree with this one just by the comments. So the biggest misinformation whilst on a GLP-1 is that you have to restrict your favourite foods. That is absolutely not the case. In fact, you can still eat what you like, just in moderation with a little tweak. I mean, the girls having some form of takeaway. That's just complete false. Yes, you can still lose weight. Like I said, you are not eating that much food. You're having an injection which is completely suppressing how much you eat. And at the end of the day, weight is all about energy balance. If you have less energy than what you require, then you are going to basically lose weight. That is it. You're not going to store it. So my point is that you can eat anything, but you shouldn't be doing that for a healthy lifestyle. You should be trying to balance all the other things because in the future, all these people that have gone on all these medications, they will all come out with horrendous diseases. It could be, just like bone malformations. They'll come out with sarcopenias. They'll come out with all these stupid things that are being influenced or induced by aesthetics. If you're going to say anything else. I have to be very PC here. I can't comment too much or take it personal, but you can decide whether you can still eat your own food without any tweaks and look very good. Okay, I'm not going to do that many more because ideally I wanted a list curated for me instead of me just literally going on the first video and then scrolling through and then seeing which one comes up with a decent title. So I'm going to do a couple more, see how they pan out. So this first one, or the next one, says don't do Ozempic. It's going to probably go along the lines of don't do Ozempic, and then the woman's going to turn out to be about 15 stone light, and then everyone's going to be like, oh, well, I should have done it. Watch. Okay. Similar thing, but not what I thought. So tirzepatide tears is Mounjaro. So it's a slightly different GLP-1 because it's got a GIP in it as well. I mean, I actually don't know what to do anymore. Obviously, this generation, our generation, the one below us are all knackered because they're going to be following all these injections. Do not go onto these medications if you have not tried the basics. Go to the gym, put a lock on your fridge. I can't say anything without being, I can't go to non-PC, but just go and do the basics. Make sure you're having a bit of fruit and veg. Make sure you're having enough protein. Make sure you're lifting some weights. And then that will get you most of the way there. Most of these people are just absolute lazy, and that is it. There is no way around it. Okay, things I wish I knew before starting Ozempic or Mounjaro. Let's see.
I knew before starting Ozempic or Mounjaro. It takes 4 weeks for the medication to build up in your body and get to full effect. It can take 3 months for side effects.
So where it takes 4 weeks, so where that comes in is you look at the half-life of a drug and you've got to dose it 5 times. So with a Mounjaro, you're looking at about what, 6 to 7 days half-life. You're probably looking at 5 weeks is where you would reach something called steady state. Anyway, it can take 3 months for the side effects to wear off.
The first month is usually the worst, and the first week definitely the worst. 0.25 is starter dose. 0.5 might give you some effect, but most people don't feel anything until they hit the full 1 milligram on Ozempic or 7.5 or higher on Mounjaro. That's going to make you more nauseous.
Okay, so just general advice. I mean, this is not going to be brought up in this video, but my point, I think we went for a meal and the most common topic of conversation was what dose and what side effects people were getting from a GLP-1 pen. I never thought in all my years that I would be sitting at a table with people talking about prescription medication as if it was a thing to have in common, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's just sort of coming across in this video where there's people sitting there going, oh, well, I'm on this dose, should be on this one, I'm getting these side effects, maybe I reduce it. One thing that I would want to note, and I can never find the documents again since, well, basically all of it's come to the public eye, but we started doing clinics, it must have been 5 to 6 years ago now, when it was liraglutide, which is Saxenda. So 3 times less effective than the current Mounjaro. So when you were going up on a dose, you had to then stay on that dose and then you keep going up. It wasn't a case where you could just stay on a dose where you tolerate it, because if you went to a dosing regime and you couldn't tolerate it, you would then try again for a further week. And then if you didn't tolerate it, you had to terminate therapy at that point. That was the guidance for us. And it was in all the manufacturers' licensing and all the product protocols. Since obviously it come into this mass publication and capitalistic market where everyone wants to be on this medication, it has then been removed. And now people, if you do not tolerate, let's pick Mounjaro, if you do not tolerate the 10 milligrams, you can drop down to the 7.5 milligrams. Now, who's that in the best interest of? Yeah, probably the users, because they will still be able to lose weight no matter what dose they're on, really. But then also, when you look at it from a capitalistic point of view, you're still going to make money on people that would never have been fit for therapy. So I just find it really strange. Okay, so last video, I'm going to call it this. So stop lying about being on a GLP-1. Something I find quite common. I mean, it is up to you whether you tell anyone within your friendship group, family, whether you are taking a medication for one. But let's see.
On the fact that it is weird if you lie about being on a GLP-1. You do not have to go out of your way to tell people you are on a GLP-1.
You don't?
It is your medical information. You don't have to share that with everyone, but you do have to when you are creating this guise that you're losing weight by doing this workout or creating this.
Okay, yeah, so a lot of people are, I mean, this goes on for years and has gone on for years with obviously the use of anabolics, where people are building these unbelievable physiques and then selling them off as, if you do 15 pull-ups a day, you'll look like me, when there's no chance in hell that you're going to. So yeah, I understand from that point of view, you shouldn't be able to mislead people. Another person or people who you should be telling that you are using this medication is to your local doctor's healthcare provider, because when we are looking at your medical record and we're prescribing other medications, we need to know what you're taking. And a lot of the time, and this is only anecdotal, I do not have a study for this, a lot of people fill out the forms wrong. I have told you previously in this video that people put the wrong weight down, they put the wrong height down so that the BMI is sort of optimized for them to receive therapy. But they also do it in the sense that they do not say what they fully have in terms of past medical history. Because if you have, I don't know, pancreatitis, if you have thyroid disorders where it could be potentially cancer, when you've got diabetes, I mean, there was a lot of criteria where if you've got these conditions that we would not be able to do it unless it was under specialist care. And a lot of people are just obviously bypassing that, because at the end of the day, it's better to look sexy and thin than it is to, I don't know, comply with medical safety. But then they will be the first people knocking on the door as soon as something goes wrong. Now, obviously that is the end of this video in terms of reactions. Ideally, like I said, I wanted a list that was curated, but I didn't get that. So going forward, if anything does come up, I'm going to try and get people to make me a list so it is a true reaction full of ridiculous claims, because this one didn't really have them, let's be honest. GLP-1, if you are going to use it, make sure, this is not medical advice, I will come on to that disclaimer later, but if you are using a GLP-1 pen, make sure you are having a fully balanced diet. Make sure you are still going to the gym. You are trying to build muscle and trying to preserve any muscle loss. You need to be having a higher amount of protein. You may need to make sure that you are having enough vitamins and minerals and staying hydrated. These are all just general self-care and safe use of the medication. But do not be using it because you want to look a certain way. And this hasn't come up in this video, believe it or not, but the body positivity movement, I brought up numerous times. Years ago, it was, if you were big, it was beautiful and all them things. By all means, you can carry on doing that. I don't agree with it, but it's not affecting me as long as you're not advising people to become overweight or obese because it's good for your health. But obviously now everyone's switched to this medication where all of a sudden weight loss is easy, it's accessible, and the body positivity movement is no longer. Basically, you are skinny or you are fat or poor. That is basically how a lot of people are doing it, which, like I said, people, the way they deal with their health and aesthetics does not really involve me. It's not my business. It only becomes my business when they start advising people that being obese or being equally underweight is healthy, which it isn't. And looking at weight for the health metric is not what we should be doing. We should be looking at all other things. We should be looking at biomarkers. We should be looking at body proportionality. So in terms of lean mass, fat mass, we should also be looking at bone density that is included within proportionality. We should be looking at physical function. So are we able to do certain mobility exercises? Can we run a certain distance? Can we lift our own body weight? These are the things that we should be using to calibrate whether we are healthy, not just how we look in a certain set of clothes. Hopefully that will eventually drill into some people who are still on the fence as to whether they should be driving their health towards aesthetics or other things. GLP-1s, I'm against 95% of their use, even though I see it every day, and it's quite a conflicting thing to say. But as always, this is for informational purposes only. If you are in need of medical advice, go and see your local healthcare provider. If you have any suggestions about future reaction videos, by all means, put them in the comments and I will go through them on a sort of live video. I'm not really going to edit this too much, and I will go through it then. So if you got this far, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.